So today we'll be talking about how to operate your pool safely with the chemicals. So if you find this video useful, please like and share. So if you're operating a pool or if you owned a pool, you should have a pool test kit. A pool test kit, this is just one example. You have like various pool test kit. So you have this one, you have the test strip, and you have like other stuff that you can use to test your pool. So what this kit does, it tests the chlorine. This one tests the pH in your pool. It also tests the free chlorine, and it tests the alkalinity. So testing your pool is to find out what your chlorine is sitting at, what your pH is sitting at, and what your alkalinity is sitting at. So your pool should be at least 2 parts per million to 5 parts per million with chlorine. Anything higher you'll get like rash or burn or that kind of stuff. Too strong. So for the hot tub, you should have at least 3 parts per million to 5 parts per million. Anything higher than 5, you can go maybe to 8, but anything above that, it will start burning your skin and all that kind of stuff. And it shouldn't be lower than 2 or 3. That way, if it's lower, then you can start grow bacteria because there is not enough chlorine in the water to keep away bacteria. So you need at least 2 parts per million in the pool, 2 to 5, and in the hot tub you need 3 to 5 parts per million. So for the pH, it should be at least 7.3, and the alkalinity, it should be at least 110 parts per million. So the pH should be at least 7.3. It can be 7.3 to 7.6. And the alkalinity can be 110 to 180. The alkalinity is what you use to balance your pool. So I'll show you the chemicals that we use in a bit. We also use, there is chlorine pool and there is saltwater pool. So it all depends. You had chlorine in the chlorine pool, saltwater pool generates its own chlorine. So I'll show you all the chemicals that I used in a bit. So I'm about to show you the chemicals. So if you use chlorine pool, this is what you need to have in your pool. That's chlorine. We get our chemicals from Ecolab. That's why you see the Ecolab sign. But you can get chlorine wherever your supplier is. If it's Canadian Tire or Home Depot, doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So this is the chlorine. This guy here is a dechlor. So if you test your pool and you find that the chlorine is too high, you use this to reduce the amount of chlorine in the pool. And you had a bit, and then watch the pool, let it settle, and test again, and then you had as needed. This chemical is called Hyposhock. You only use this when there is bacteria in your pool. If you test your pool and the combined chlorine is higher than 0.5 or 0.1, you need to shock or drain your pool. So this is what you use to shock your pool. What this does, it generates the chlorine to about 20 parts per million. So you need to leave your pool closed for at least 4 to 5 hours. It depends on the situation. If someone pee in your pool, you can just you know, which is like an everyday thing, that's not that bad. But if someone poo or whatever in your pool, then you need to either, it depends on the situation again, you need to either drain the pool or shock the pool for 12 hours in that case. So this is to shock the pool to kill all bacteria. And when you shock the pool, you have to leave it for at least 4 hours, 4 to 12 hours. Then you use this dechlor to reduce that chlorine again. Over here, this is the total alk, which is the alkalinity. This is used to increase the alkalinity if the alkalinity is too low. Over here we have the muriatic acid. What the muriatic acid does is, if the pH is too high, it reduces the pH. If the alkalinity is too high, it reduces the alkalinity. That's the purpose of the muriatic acid. Here we have the defoamer. What the defoamer does, for example, if you have a hot tub and sometimes kids would throw soap and all that kind of stuff, you use this to get rid of the bubbles or the soot or the foam or whatever. That's what that's for. This guy here is called Sea Clear. What this does, if your pool looks cloudy or, you know, the water looks kind of not dull, you use this to get it clear. So this clears up your water. So these are the chemicals, and then of course we have the pool salt. If you have a saltwater pool, which used to generate chlorine as well. So these are the chemicals that you should all have if you have a pool or operating a pool. So here I'll give you a quick example of how this defoamer works. So whenever you see all that foam or whatever you call it, you can add your defoamer and it takes away all foam, like instant. That's what it does. There. Takes it away, right away. And same thing with the pool. If you have any foam in, you had your defoamer. If it looks cloudy or whatever, you had your Sea Clear. So that's just an example of how the defoamer works.